Hi, I'm Natasha Lockhart. We've got some wonderful guests lined up for this episode of Studio Chatter.
And I'm Angie Murphy. We'll dive into ways to become closer to our relatives that have passed on and those still with us.
We'll visit with my favorite salsa madre. I can taste it now.
And we'll talk to one woman that knows what it's like to be in the boys' club.
What a great lineup. All this and more on Studio Chatter. Welcome to Studio Chatter. Where's Stacy? Is she in Mexico with Ted Cruz?
Ted's just hopping back and forth, and Stacy decided to join in, leaving our city in the midst of COVID.
How dare she? We don't know what to do without our blondie here in the middle.
No, I know. Doing the opening segment, I just kept waiting for her to pipe in, Stace.
Where is she? It's hard to get old, isn't it?
It is. It's really hard. And I don't have my glasses today, so it could get tricky.
Well, I feel your pain. We have to laugh at ourselves.
We do.
We were just laughing at you because there's a selfie.
My phone is a selfie, that I know it's mine.
I kind of like it. I mean,
right?
I've done that before. You kind of pick up someone else's phone and you're like, wait,
Natasha, I do it all the time and pick up someone else's drink and drink it. So
no. That's probably not good either.
No, it's not. Not nowadays, at least.
Yeah, especially not now.
Right.
And you know what? I'm super weird with drinks, especially. I won't even share with my kids.
You won't at all?
Once in a while, but that's one of the things and one of the rules when we go out the door. I'm like, have you gone to the bathroom? Do you have your own drink? Do you?
Because I'm not sharing.
I'm not sharing. I don't know if it's an only child thing that's carried over, but
maybe you're just used to it not.
I don't know. I'm super weird about that. Maybe
no, I think that's great. But my grandkids now go around Gigi's Diet Coke. Everyone is drinking out of it.
Yeah.
So it's a little creepy that way. But well, if you don't mind Gigi's germs and your moms are okay, then there we go.
Well, and the other thing about getting old, and I love that you were talking about this too. So more so this year,
yes.
I really had kind of been lucky until now. The grays have just started kind of creeping in here, but once
and
in
you
a
have
while,
dark hair, so you would be able to see them.
So I found the mascara wand too. I'm just kind of
I'll get my hair colored, and within a few, at least a week, one will just pop through, it just happens. So I've tried the dark shampoo, dry shampoos, and once in a while it just doesn't match up well, and then I feel like it's frosty sometimes looking, like you've dumped powder in your hair.
But they say if you pluck one, then 5 more will come to the funeral or something.
Totally.
So you're totally not supposed to do that. So
it's true. So I may have to go blonde. We may have to go blonde.
I've done that before, but then I'm afraid that's going to show more of the wrinkles. So, gosh, it's just not a great thing. But we're totally jealous that Stacy is on vacay,
getting more wrinkles in the sun.
Yeah,
just kidding. She deserves a getaway.
Absolutely.
Yep, I'm ready.
Well, they say that there's this ongoing pandemic. What is it? I guess. People that have just been this urge, and finally it seems that people are starting to go out a little bit more. Do you have the desire?
Yes.
To go? Have you booked your tickets?
Yes, I have the desire to go. I feel like I go to plan something, and then something in my life will come up. But we do have 2 vacations planned in June and July, so I'm hopeful that those pan out this year. And I told her, I'm ready to just get away, road trip. Let's get in the car and we'll just drive for spring break. I'm scared to actually make a reservation thinking that something weird, look down at Texas.
Right.
It's who would have thunk in a million years that they would be dealing with something other than COVID that's a huge situation and has shut down their state.
Isn't it so strange?
It's so weird.
It just seems like 2021 hasn't presented itself any better. But
no.
I've been talking to some clients this week too, both in Texas and Louisiana, that have been hit by weird
crazy
ice
weather.
Storms and weather, and have been set back back in just different ways that have been completely unexpected.
Totally, that Texas thing is just blowing me out of the water. And like
Right.
here, if that were to happen, like our pipes, I guess, are used to it or something. But there, it's like pipes are breaking and they've shut off the water, and then people were leaving their water on to trickle. But then that's causing problems that then I guess the city or the state has shut down water, and then when they turn it back on again, a bunch more busted. It's just, it's a mess down there.
We've had some weird weather though too.
Yes.
Like it was unseasonably warm for a really long time, and then all of a
Yes.
sudden we had kind of the snowstorms.
Right.
And then it's warm
Like
again.
January was like crazy, kind of warmish, I feel like. And then, yeah, then we had snow. I mean, I don't know.
We're prepping for spring again.
Maybe. I'm ready for snow. Like
Yeah,
next week, I'm sure it'll snow again.
What's been going on in your world?
Let's see. Well, today I had the day off, which was so refreshing. I got a bunch of like random little things done. Bo had a dermatology appointment, and anyway, I got home feeling like I'm going to make dinner. I went to the grocery store, and then I got caught up on the phone with some things, and I'm like, my world isn't my own sometimes. And I felt like this need, like, I need to start saying no, but I hate saying no, and I'm trying to wrap my head around what is it about saying no that gives me such a hard time. And like my daughter was saying, is it the fear of missing out? Is it? And I'm like, I think sometimes I feel capable and feel like I can help the person. But then is it necessarily not helping myself? But you don't do for others to help yourself, but
Sometimes you do, I believe, but I think there is kind of that push and pull. I think that's when we have to have Connie back in here to tell us.
do? Oh, I needed Connie today
to
so
find that
badly,
balance on your
Natasha.
plate. But we don't get to stalk you anymore because you just don't post as often. So I stalked someone else that posts Bo on their page. So
you
I know that you had a recent dance in your life. So,
We did.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, so the kids have been having sweethearts, and some have been having like an actual dance, but the schools aren't having them. But a lot of the kids are just doing a date dance. And so Bo's cute little girlfriend asked him to sweethearts, and they still do like the fun asking. And then they ended up doing dinner and pictures, and my Mallory went and took their pictures, and then they just went and hung out at someone's house and just had fun together. So
Such a cute couple.
they're darling, absolutely darling, and it's just fun that I'm grateful that the kids are being able to get together just
In
a
small
little bit.
groups
They're
even.
needing it. Yep. They're needing the get-togethers.
Yeah.
But
Well, I did see a little bit of that, so that was
oh,
that was fun.
they look
to see
fun.
that.
My granddaughter Noli loves Elsa, and so she said, "Oh my
Oh,
goodness,
the blue
Lydia
dress."
looks like Elsa."
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
'cause it's
sure.
blue.
Well, we're going to be talking a lot more kids coming up. Well, next on Studio Chatter, get your taste buds ready for some salsa. That's coming right up. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. If you've been a fan of the farmers market for the last few years, then you'll know our first guests. Welcome Miriam Corona and Greta Crockett from Salsa Madre to our table. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies, Natasha it's kind of all she talks about is you guys.
Well,
Like all last year, and we just could not wait to finally meet you guys and have you here.
So I tend to be the resident foodie, and I get super excited about food, but I've always been excited about the salsa and going to the market. When the market would open in the summer, I would always go and get a couple, over the weekend, and then you did home delivery for a while
For a little bit,
for
yeah.
special events. And then what happened? Like you decided to expand to the storefront. Tell us the story of Salsa Madre.
Tell us. You can explain all this
Well, my mom has been doing it for how
for
long has it
8 years.
been?
I have been doing it for
So
8
it's been a
years.
while.
already.
Wow. Okay.
And I think she just wanted. I mean, in the winter, it was hard to get. We're at a few stores like Good Earth and Reams and Springville, but
Okay.
even they can't really keep up. In
Okay.
the winter, people are just used to.
They want
going
their
to the
salsa.
stores, but they run out
Yeah.
and they didn't have it. So people would even come to like your house, right? Like we have a commercial kitchen we would
Yes.
use and then bring it over and. But that just got kind of old, and we've had the idea of starting this.
A little store. I always, want to have my little store, but,
It always seemed like
It's
a
always
dream
like-
or too
yeah.
hard or something.
Yeah, and I mean it's been hard using a communal commercial kitchen and transporting, and it's just
Oh,
been
I bet.
difficult.
Just a
so
lot of
having
extra
our own
hard,
thing
yeah.
has been life changing.
Okay.
So when did you started making salsa 8 years ago?
Yeah.
Had you always made it like growing up or as a young mom or
Yeah,
what?
well, in Mexico, the salsa is
We're from
like
Mexico
a main. We are
City.
from Mexico City.
Are you?
So,
Oh,
yes.
I love that.
So my mom always, she makes the best salsa. So I was like, yeah, I always want to, start my little business with the salsa. So yeah, and then one day I was like, well, I think I'm gonna start. So I'm gonna start with the red one.
Okay.
So that was the first one. And,
And is that kind of your mainstay salsa, like one that you kind of make for everything? Or?
Yeah, I mean it's a classic red.
Yeah, it is a
and
classic.
I think people here are most familiar with that,
Right.
the chips and salsa.
Yes.
Yeah.
In Mexico, it's mostly used. I mean, we do chips and salsa, but not
like
the
we do
way
here, not the Americanized
No.
kind of way.
Like
Yeah.
this one is more authentic to Mexico.
Okay.
On tacos,
More the green sauce.
or enchiladas. Like we can make
Yeah,
enchiladas
you
with
can make
that.
everything with this. This is
So that's more of your mainstay would be the green. For
Yeah.
us, it's more like we're traditionally knowing this.
Right.
But
And,
this is
and I love
Natasha's
this
favorite.
I love something a little more hearty, the
That
cowboy
one fills you
caviar.
up, totally.
Well, and then it has a little bit of that vinaigrette, so I love kind of the tangy to that because it's not so traditional. But then even as of late, I know that you've expanded with the queso, so people are going nuts over the queso.
Oh, the queso.
Yeah, it's so good.
We thought, how
Yeah.
could you have a salsa shop without a good
With a
queso?
good
And I
queso.
even made a post about it. Queso's not super traditional to Mexico City.
Okay.
But can you not have some at a salsa store? And I've been in Texas for
Yes,
like
make this for us.
6 years, so I fell in love with
In
queso.
in Texas, yeah.
Texas is, and so I was like, if I move back to Utah, I've got to perfect my queso before I go back.
So is it a white cheese or a yellow cheese? that
It's
you
cheddar
do?
based.
Okay.
So yeah, it's cheddar based. So it's like orange.
Ooh. I
But
bet it's yum.
it's turned into one of our top sellers.
Oh, yeah.
That is
Yeah.
so fun.
This is the best seller, and then the queso.
Okay, we need to sample some of these. So
Oh, okay.
let's
So I'll
tell me
start,
why
so
we're
I'll start
chatting.
passing some of this
Okay.
around. So then I remember, so the storefront opened December.
December
Okay.
the 4th,
So
yeah.
then I was like one of the first ones in there, of course, and I'm like, so traditional in Mexico in December. I'm like, where are the tamales? And she's like, well, Natasha, we already sold out like this morning. So
Are
she's
you
like,
kidding?
Yeah, she's
Oh,
like, you
yeah.
have to come back like tomorrow morning early. And were you
Right.
selling out like?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
the first December was crazy because of the holiday, and then we did some little orders that went crazy.
Oh,
So were you always planning to sell other foods, not just salsa?
Yeah,
in
so
the
that
store?
was our.
Okay.
I mean,
That's what-
salsa's
yeah.
been our main thing, but we've also wanted to just share authentic Mexican food that doesn't. We take out the spice because 95% of our people don't
Like
do
super
I don't
spicy.
even eat super spicy.
Yeah.
Right.
So and that way people can enjoy it without having to die and have their mouth
I
on
know,
fire.
because, yeah.
So really quickly, tell everyone where the store is located.
So the store is right behind Texaco on 800 North, right kind of by In-N-Out, that little area. It's a little strip mall right behind Texaco.
Yeah, it's like it's south of the In-N-Out.
Yeah, it's
little
just
drive-through.
across the street
In-N-Out,
from there.
yep,
Yeah.
And if you've not been inside, it's set up kind of grocery store style.
So grocery store style, everything that's in the fridges to the right when you walk in is up for grabs.
Okay.
And I mean, we've got the first section is all the salsas. We've got 10 kinds.
Oh my heavens.
Yeah,
Plus the
start
queso.
with- yeah.
We added some spicy ones because people were complaining, where's the spice? And we're
Yeah.
like, okay, we'll give
A
it to
few
you.
people
We'll
like
up it.
really spicy, so that's
So we have
why
we have a few desserts, like our rice pudding's been really selling
Oh,
really
yeah.
quickly.
Oh,
Key
you
lime
guys, I love rice
pie.
pudding.
Oh,
We
you,
gotta- we should
Oh
have
yeah.
some.
You have to
okay.
try some.
I'll have to.
Yeah,
no,
we-
I'll have to come and purchase them. Yep.
And then on the fridges right next to that is kind of all our food items, and we've got the items that we'll always have there is the tamales unless we sell out. We've got a chicken and green sauce, and then a pork and red sauce, and the taco kits will always be there.
Okay, so tell me about the taco kits. Natasha was kind of telling me, like you
So-
pick a protein and then.
Yep. So you pick a protein. We've got a chicken option, a pork option, and a beef option. 32 ounces, and then you pick a rice. We've got Mexican rice or cilantro lime rice. Then you pick a bean. It's like I've memorized all this.
Okay.
We've got black beans, which are whole. And then we've got refried, but those do have lard. So people that don't like lard,
Maybe,
go with
yeah.
the black beans. And then it comes with 1 salsa and then 8 corner flour tortillas.
Oh my heavens.
Yeah, so you
That
just kinda
is a
take
meal
it-
kit.
Yeah, it's
And how much is like something like that?
so it's $28.99. And
That
it feeds
is
about
so
3
great.
to 4. Some
That's
people
Well,
say
some
4.
people say like, no,
They're
it's
like,
5
no,
or 6,
I mean,
but I'm like,
Depending
well,
on how big your
depends.
ears are.
Ears are. Yeah.
So my husband and my son and I, like that would probably be
Oh,
a
yeah.
perfect
Yeah,
meal with
totally.
maybe
Yeah,
some leftovers.
Totally. And so the taco kits and the tamales will always be there.
Okay.
But we've got a few items that we rotate out just to give people a little variety. We've done to fajitas. What else have we? Chiles rellenos.
Oh.
Yeah. What else we have?
What else have
We're
we?
gonna make some enchiladas this
Oh yeah, we're
week.
doing enchiladas this
So-
week. So we'll just
Yeah, we just
kind of we let
rotate
people
it.
know through Facebook or Instagram what
What you're
we're
up and
doing.
coming. And then do you keep those just for the day? Do you usually sell out of it or
I
a
mean,
couple of days or
We just for a couple days it's there, and we try to make some more. But because we're
Change
not
it
a
up.
restaurant, we can't just go and make stuff because we can't sell stuff warm.
Okay, gotcha.
It's gotta be-
so
we
it's
have to
got to
sell
be
it
refrigerated.
refrigerated.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
What about guacamole?
That we do occasionally.
Occasionally,
Just because
okay.
we did it for the
'cause-
Super Bowl. But avocado just
They
goes.
goes
I
black.
was gonna say, and how do you keep avocado like
know.
the guacamole good? It just goes brownish, right?
Yeah, well, we
Like,
sold it
super
like
quick?
Saturday for the Super Bowl Sunday, and it stayed well.
I stay what for like a couple days, like 2 days,
Yeah.
but then it start like
These changed up a little bit.
Yes. So the first month we had a hard time with our distributor. Couldn't keep up.
Really?
And a lot of people came in, and
You're like we're out of chips.
it was a couple days we were like, we
Yeah.
just couldn't find any. It was hard. So we had to switch, and we switched to another vendor that we liked.
Yeah.
We actually are just about to switch. We found our chip.
And that is important.
It is
because
important.
a certain chip can make the salsa,
Yeah,
make
the
or
ones
break
we
it.
have right now and have had for a few weeks are kind of frail. They break really easily. They're
Which
good.
I'm
The flavor's
fine with
good.
that, but yeah, when you have a hearty salsa like that,
Or like nachos that you
Yes.
don't want to get soggy.
right?
Didn't you make them? Didn't you
Before.
make them before? Why
Yeah.
don't you make them again?
'cause it was a lot of
Isn't it
work.
too
and-
much work?
And so
and
much time.
And now I'm like, it's no way that we can, make
Right.
that.
You're focusing on your
Right.
salsa
Our
and your
salsas
foods,
and the
not on the
food.
chip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I'm like, and the
Oh no, I
people
like
was
the
like,
chip.
You like it?
Yeah, I really do.
Okay.
So
And that's a
good,
good
huh?
flavor, not too salty.
I know.
Okay, that red is yum.
Well,
guys. Super
really quickly,
yum.
because if you can
Okay,
believe it,
we're
we're
out of
almost
time.
out of time. Seasonal also, probably, I've seen you post a couple of things. Horchata, Mexican hot chocolate, flan. I mean, really, really traditional Mexican
Yeah.
food items. What am I missing?
what else?
Fran?
The flan,
I should work there, right?
tres
We did
leches.
tres leches. I know. We're gonna make Natasha the next spokesperson.
She is. She
making
basically
tortillas
is.
We've done tres leches. Oh, we did churros for
Oh yeah, for
Valentine's. Did you?
oh,
With
they
that
were like so good.
That will be not all the time. It was just we were selling
A lot
out
of work
like
too.
that, Yeah.
So much work.
And it's,
done
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Well, I know that Natasha's brought it in a few times, and every single time it's just consistent. Like, this is what we're getting every single time, and it's delicious. So I think people are just grasping onto that, and I think it's fun to have someone local that's creating like homegrown,
Yeah.
yummy food. And so I just think you guys are going to be super successful. I really do.
thank
I think
you.
it's just really yum.
I just have one question before we
Yeah.
break.
Oh, no.
So now that you have your own storefront, will we see you back at the markets? Will we see you?
Yes,
back
we
at-
will be
okay.
there. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
because I was telling my dad, I love the farmers market.
your
I
heart
just like
is,
the
right?
people. I love to,
Right.
say.
I think you should hire Natasha to be at the farmer's
Oh
market.
my gosh. No, Angie was just teaching me how to say
say
no.
no.
Yes. Well, we love you dearly. Okay, so following you at Salsa Madre. And then we found out the location and look for all of your new postings weekly,
Yep,
right?
That's how we kind of get our message out, whether what we're gonna have or.
So not a website, but Instagram
Well,
is
our,
your.
our,
We
we,
have
do
a
have a
website.
website,
Okay.
salsamadre.us, but
Okay.
we kind of communicate more with our people through Instagram and Facebook.
Yep.
Okay. Greta and
Awesome,
Miriam.
you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Coming up next on Studio Chatter, making those family connections can be really easy. Stay with us. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Family history enthusiasts just got a recharge with the recent Roots Tech conference, but if you missed out, our next guest will get you motivated to do more. Welcome Tara Lynn Parker from the 21-day Family Connections Experiment to the table. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
So much fun. So what did everyone just experiment with the 21-day challenge?
Hey, well, the 21-day challenge is actually coming up. It's coming.
Oh, okay.
That Roots Tech
Roots Tech, sorry.
Yes,
Sorry, okay.
Roots Tech just
Okay,
happened.
how to reverse.
Yeah, no, you're good. So with Roots Tech, usually it's at the Salt Palace.
Okay.
And it has about 25,000 people.
Oh my heavens.
Gosh.
It's huge. They pack the Salt Palace. But this year, of course, with the pandemic, we're not meeting in person. So it was virtual, all online, over 800 classes, 120 presenters, 11 languages, and over 400,000 people signed up. So
That is amazing. So normally, do you have that many classes when you have it at the Salt Palace, or because of online that you're able to have more, I guess, more choices and selection?
Because of online, it's able to be so much more, and way more foreign language classes and capabilities. You have, someone who's from France, like speaking from France. It's
Right.
amazing. It's really
Or
cool.
normally you maybe couldn't have that person in-house and being able to offer those classes.
Yeah.
Well, I know that our neighborhood and our ward religious had really sent out a bunch of flyers on it and really promoting it and just telling us how awesome it is just to connect with your past, just to find those people like who makes you who. What are some of the reasons why people love this so much?
I think you hit it right on the nail. People love to connect with their past, and I think a lot of it is the stories. We love hearing the stories. We love relating to the stories, and we love finding pieces of ourselves in our ancestors. And I think that's what makes it so relatable for everyone.
Right, it's just not a religious thing. It's more like a people thing. It's where you come from and your past. I know that we recently, with my son-in-law, was looking back at some old records, and we found a picture of his, I think it's great-great-grandpa. It was several generations back. You guys, identical.
Really?
With my
So fun.
son-in-law. I mean, the beard, the eyes, it was really neat. It's like we just got a glimpse of him and just pasted him right next to a current generation. It was so fun.
Well, it's super interesting not only to find the history. I mean, I remember my grandma pulling out the books with the genealogy and writing it in and searching through the records. But I think technology has brought us so far forward to be able to, not only to find the photos
But to find like the stories and the
find all of that history,
particulars,
yes,
right.
and put it together. I mean, we were even playing with the app before we started filming, and to be able to scan a person and put that next to that person and maybe see what we have in common, or what friends, relatives, neighbors, what anybody might have in
or
common.
that could have taken months and months or years
Right.
maybe to find those connections, and now just like that.
Yes, no, it's 100% like that. With the internet, even with social media, that's one of the classes that I taught for Roots Tech, was connecting with your living family, and then even finding like distant relations through social media. This is all at our fingertips. So
Okay,
it's exciting.
So Roots Tech has happened.
Yes.
So that was all the learning and everything that has gone on to maybe show you and how to do. Okay, so now let's talk about the 21-day challenge. So what does the challenge now entail going forward?
Hey, that's a great question. So, even backing up a little bit, the
Okay.
wonderful thing about Roots Tech is, before you went and it was kind of like a one and done in the weekend.
Right.
This year, all the classes stay up online all year. So if you can't
Oh.
if you didn't make it, don't worry. Just head to rootstech.org and you can still watch all the amazing classes. So for the 21-day experiment, we knew a lot of people would be coming straight off of Roots Tech. Probably like a fire hose, information overload, what do we do next? So for the 21-day experiment in March. We're doing a genealogy boot camp, which kind of sounds a little like scary, but it's not. It's gonna be so fun. It's taking some of those concepts like the records and census and obituaries, and then the fun stuff like our stories and our photos and who do we look like, and it's breaking it down into easy, doable things like each day. So anyone can do it, and just making it more doable.
I think that I like that because I think it's overwhelming. It's like there's so many aspects of it that I don't feel like I can dive into it because I'm like, what do I do? What's most important? Or, you know, so I look at my family tree and I'm like, how far back can I go? But then I'm scared to like really like, what's important, I guess, to start with. And I guess maybe there isn't just one.
Yeah.
There's lots of different avenues.
I think you can start with what you're the most excited about. Like I can tell with you, it's stories.
Right.
Like an example I like to share is I saw on Family Search a photo of my my husband's great grandfather's house. That's actually like right here in Spanish Fork. It popped up and I was like, oh my goodness, is it still standing? Can I visit it? Like what if I drive by it every day? So I posted it in our Spanish Fork community news, and within a day, I had over like 100 crowdsource responses, like people helping me to find where it is. That cute little Daughters of the Utah Pioneers Museum mentioned land records. There were 3 or 4 people who I actually found out were related to. And I didn't know we were family, but it was so fun because not only did we discover the house, like it's like right on the way to swimming lessons. We found the house, we found family, and it just kind of tapped into that heritage that we have here in Spanish Fork. Like people are excited about our history. So like posting about an old house on Facebook, like that is totally family history. And we kind of snuck in like the records and seeing how we're related to people too. But that's what I got excited about that day. And so to me that counts. That's family history.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Oh, I love that. I love the historical aspect about it too. And I think that it's evolved also because I think a lot of people have also that have always thought maybe you could only do it if you had access to church records that you could only do it that way. But I think it's really kind of changed and evolved, and a lot of people want to know where their history is and where that stems from. So is it open to anybody that wants to be involved?
Oh, yes. See, I do not have a genealogy degree. Like, I'm just a hobbyist. I'm someone who's just excited about it. Like, we were playing with the Family Tree app, right? Like, before we started. I totally opened that up, like, while I'm waiting in carpool with my kids. And they've made it so easy that even, like, a non-genealogist like me, like a hobbyist, I can attach records. Like, there's church census records up right now that I can just go click, 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 and I can do it. They've made it, there's some of the hard stuff like back in the 1700s, but I feel like there's enough that anyone can do. Like if you're excited about it, you can find the pictures, you can attach the records.
Oh my word.
So why is it
so good?
I guess why is it so important that we do this or get involved in it? What drives this whole thing?
I think we touched a little bit about it earlier. We all want to feel like we're part of something bigger than ourselves, right? We want to be part of a community. We want to feel connection. And I think that's been so important this last year. Like when we're stuck at home so often, like we want to connect with others and we want to like I said, feel part of something. And there have been studies done that show, especially with children, but it applies to us adults too, that when we know our family stories, when we talk about our family narratives, it builds resilience, like something we totally need this year. It builds resilience, it builds confidence, and it gives us perspective. I gained so much perspective from reading ancestors' stories back when they went through the Spanish flu epidemic in 1918. I'm like, oh, they did it. Like, I can do it. I have electronics now. I have Marco Polo. I have Amazon delivery.
So much easier ways to connect.
Like, it's so hard. It's still like, there's lots of hard things, not downplaying that. But man, I am like hooked up with like all these modern conveniences. So, you know, it just helps you flip it.
True. That is so true. I love that because I remember even growing up, I used to love to read all of the little storybooks of the first ladies. But but going back in time, and then when it becomes even closer to home, when it's your own family, or you know, grandma and grandpa did that, or you know, there's the pioneer stories, or and it's closer and more relatable, and then sharing it with your kids, or being able to write your own record, or even writing or reading those diaries that somebody left behind. I think that's truly, truly important. So I'm so glad that there's people like you that think that it's important to share the message to people like me that maybe
and that a
put it off.
hobbyist,
Right.
not a genealogist,
right.
can
I know.
still do
I
this.
love that you play with the app in the carpool lane because I don't do that, and maybe you should be doing something better.
Something
like that.
other than scrolling through Instagram. We can maybe hit that a
Yes.
couple
Hey,
times.
Instagram is family history too. I taught a class on that at Roots Tech.
We might use that
Yep,
sometime.
finding your cousins on Instagram, it totally counts. And doing your own pictures, that's journaling. So you're good, you got it.
See?
Okay, this in modern times, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Awesome, love it. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, coming up next on Studio Chatter, we just can't stop our kids from growing older. That's coming up next. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. From toddlers to teens and beyond, those darn kids sure do grow up fast, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Like people always say, like in the blink of an eye, things happen. But it kind of does feel that way. And like the older you get, I feel like the faster it goes too.
So I'll never forget when someone said to me, "Will you just wait until they get into school, and then it's just gonna fly?"
Yeah.
Because there's a time you just think, "Oh gosh,
Like I can't wait
is this
till you're
ever
older.
gonna-" right?"
Yes, no, because like when you have the toddlers, I think that time in your life is super just selfless. Like you really have to give kind of everything and just be in the moment. And I know my girls right now with their little babies, sometimes they're like, what is my purpose? And I'm like, really beyond motherhood sometimes, there's really not a lot. And I said, but enjoy it because those yummy little cheeks, and I know they're being naughty, and I'll go over there and they'll be getting mad at them, you know, and I'm just like, oh, come here, you know, because your perspective is just different now.
Right.
You've gone through that, and it's not so in your face, and you realize like how fast it really does go, and then you want those munchkins dumping out stuff.
So let's see, you have how many in your fold?
So I have 3 of my own children,
Right.
and then 2 son-in-laws.
Okay.
And then I have 4 grandbabies and 1 more on the way.
Okay.
And a girlfriend that we consider family too.
Okay. And then just Bo at home.
Just Bo at home right now, and he's almost making us empty nesters. He'll be graduating this year, and that's been tougher than I thought that it was going to be.
Okay.
I thought that we were ready because there's a 7-year gap between Mackenzie and Bo. And like, I feel like we were just like, okay, the caboose, like, let's get you caught up with the others. But as it's growing nearer, like, it changes the dynamics of your household when those people start to leave. And with him, I think we've been able to hold on to childhood, and now it's turning into an adult.
So
realm.
I kind of feel bad that Stacy's not here
Right.
today because her baby boy just got married.
Right.
And then your baby Bo is going to be going off. Has he made a plan yet? Do you know
We
what
are
he's gonna do
accepted
yet?
to several colleges, and I think he knows. I think he's going to either do the U or UVU.
Okay.
Yep.
And then I have my baby boy. So, and I think it's, I mean, you hate to say that it's different, but it is a little bit different with the baby boy.
Yeah,
with the baby
it is.
boys. Or
they're
boys
usually
in
mama
general.
boys.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's
Yep.
just, and then I just had, our 10-year-old just had her birthday over the weekend. And it's,
Is that just crazy to you that
yeah,
she's 10?
because all of a sudden, it gets, and everybody kept saying it over and over, like, double digits. And
You're like, what?
I'm like, what?
But they'll
No,
never
I
go
don't
back
like
to
that.
the
Like, I don't-
littles. I feel like
right.
those single digits are little years.
And then Facebook doesn't help at all when they put together the little memory.
No, I
the
hate
little,
that.
The little memory photos. You're like, oh, I
Then
want.
you get lost.
I
Like,
know.
oh.
I'm like, I want that little person back. She's like, blah 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 blah. And then,
And is she ready to just get old and grow up, or
She's
where is
both.
she?
She's
Is she?
both. Like she, and it's funny because I've had so many different conversations because all of a sudden she wanted a baby doll again because she didn't want anything to do
With dolls.
And then she wanted one of those real life baby dolls, and I'm like, is this normal? It's like, are we regressing a little bit? And then somebody said, no, like my daughter did that too, and she played with dolls again for a couple of years, and then she was done.
Well, I think when they're kind of going through that, sometimes it's not cool to play
Right,
with baby dolls,
right.
and then they kind of get to that point where they're like confident more and like, oh, but I want to love on them for a minute more.
Yeah, I think it's both. I mean, it really is just kind of those tween years. Like they're not quite adolescents yet. They're not teenagers yet, but they're not little
But they're
tiny
diving their
anymore.
toes
They're
into it
kind of
just
in
a
between.
little.
And I'm super fine with that.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for in the coming weeks. Like I had some other discussions with some dance moms whom I'd like to invite in to say, you know, what I'm like, gosh, am I just like a fuddy-duddy, or like what's appropriate to do this certain thing at this age, or like, are you allowing your daughter to do this and maybe shave
Well,
legs?
I think as a
or-
first-time mom, like going through those processes.
But
I
I'm
think
an
you
old
are-
mom too.
Right. So you've lived more life, so you understand it. But then plus you're just hesitant as a new mom diving into those things. You've never done it before, so I think
Yeah.
it's okay.
Well, and
to, like,
generation things are so different too.
Totally.
Because I mean, everybody wants a phone. Everybody's, can I?
And you reach back to where you were, like, we didn't have phones. Well, 'cause
Right?
nobody had
Well, I
phones.
had a brick phone when
I have to
was in
remind
high
my
school,
husband that
finally,
all the
right?
time. Well, when I was younger, I would come home and I'd do chores and we painted the house. And I was like, we
Right.
don't paint our house.
I know,
Like,
right.
we don't have to paint the outside and clear coat it every
Right,
summer, you know? And
right.
so I think it's hard that way.
Yeah.
to, you know.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I have those challenges all the time. So I'm like, do people still do chore charts? Like, am I really being so old fashioned? But
I know my girl's starting those chore charts again because Miss Magnolia wanted another Barbie or something. And so Mal said, okay, for every chore you help me with Finley with, you can put like a little sticker on the chart. And she wanted like this Barbie. So that was a picture. And then Mal's like, and then like 3 days later, I went and bought her like something
I
just because
know.
we were like done and like, okay, let's just get this over with.
Well, what about like even the expectations with Bo? Like so I know that he played a lot of ball. I don't know if you're playing spring sports. Like, I don't know, like to go to school, like, does he have to toe the line to drive this, or does he have to toe the line to go to school, or like does he have to meet you halfway with a job, or like what does he have to pay for tuition? Like,
I've always with my kids tried to like become self-sufficient and become
Right.
hard workers. Rhett was always about respect and hard work, and
Yes.
that's the way that he was raised. And I was raised the same way, where we kind of had to like help dig in and help a lot. And so with my kids, when they could, if their activities permitted, I liked them to get a little job, whether it was 5 hours or 20 hours, whatever they could fit into their schedule and still make school a priority. If they're failing in school because they're not doing the work, well then, that's one thing. But I feel like if they're able to manage their school, then they should manage like a little job so they have money. And that's just free money for them to kind of spend and do what
Okay.
they want to. And I feel like if they're doing well in school and doing their job, then I help provide their cell phone and their car insurance and that kind of stuff. Because I'm able. But, if I wasn't, I know every household is different. But I feel like that kind of gives them like a glimpse of, and now he just finished with football and then did just junior jazz, and they had a good time with that. But he has started, now he only has to take 3 classes in the morning, so now he started working in the afternoon every day, and he loves it. He's excited to like bring home a paycheck again and just be able to
Okay.
do. But he's a saver, so he's good. He's a little saver man with his money.
well, that is exciting. I mean, and I think that's so different too, because from when you and I'm making that assumption, when you and I were in school, like I didn't have an AB day or like
No.
so many hours.
No.
You finished, you
7
just went all day,
periods,
every day, and you finished.
Right.
So.
And now their lives are like a little bit trickier, a little harder, I think, to manage, but somehow they do it. They're multitaskers in our world.
Even the social expectations are a little bit different.
Totally.
Coming up next, have you ever tried to break into the proverbial boys club? We'll talk about that coming up next. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Our next guest has quite the story to tell, one that took her right into the middle of a business that is generally all male. Welcome Becky Harward, the Vice President of Hive Homes and the creator of Becky in the Boys Club blog. Welcome.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
That is such a cute little
I know.
like Insta or blog, I guess.
Love it.
I know. I just have to tell you guys I wish you understood how much street cred I'm getting right now from my kids.
Are you kidding?
Oh yeah, like according to my 9-year-old, I'm at the set of Ellen. She's talking merchandise. She's like, "All right, Mom." So anyway, thanks.
I did
We
see
are kind of, I tell this to my kids all the time. We are kind of a big deal. We are the elite of Spanish Fork here.
Well, I did see your Instagram story today. So I saw when you were kind of getting ready and you're like, I don't know what I'll do today. What would Beyonce do? So I kind
I'll
of
be on
did. I did
TV.
love that. So let's get on to the nitty gritty.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so who are you? Tell us a little bit about who you are.
your
Okay,
story.
so Becky and the Boys Club was kind of the name I came up with because I kept finding myself in meetings, and everywhere I went, I felt like I was the only woman. In new home construction and in renovations and construction in general, it seems like it's one of the few industries that's still kind of a boys' club. You know what I
right.
mean? So I feel like it's unique, and honestly, I feel honored that they've even let me in. You know what I mean? To
Right.
be able to be the vice president and an part owner of a construction company, to me is an honor. So
what made you want to get involved in the Boys Club per se? Like what led you down that path?
well, honestly, I've always kind of been a tomboy. I've always preferred the company of boys. It just was a little less drama. Maybe
It's
a little
so
less,
true. Like
a little
in
more
high school,
real.
I felt that same way a little bit. Like girls sometimes can be a little catty, though we
Well,
love
yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
So I read your story, and I love that you describe yourself as average.
Yes.
So that,
Tell us-
but
yes.
you're not at all, which is the best part, because you're describing yourself as wheat bread, but then
But you can make it exciting.
Yeah, exciting with honey and bananas. So mom had you jazz it up a little.
Right.
So. And you always challenged yourself, like you'd always go above and beyond, so you would always try things a little different. So you weren't afraid to elbow your way into the boys'
Or
club.
maybe felt comfortable with the
Right.
boys.
Yeah, well, I definitely feel like being okay with being average and not, I feel like so many of us are held back because we're not going to be the best at something. So I kind of, from the time I was young, kind of went into things just kind of knowing I wasn't going to be the best, and that never held me back. I'm going to try it. I get to choose how interesting I am. I get to choose how people feel around me. And so for me, that's probably the thing that's helped me the most.
I love it.
Is just not having that fear of being the best.
Like the expectations, take that
Yes,
off the
the
table, and then you're like,
expectation.
anything I do
Yes.
maybe is good.
I wish
Or great.
more girls had that mindset now, because I think that they are limiting themselves in
If they're
so
not
many
perfect
ways.
at it,
Yeah.
or feeling that perfection when they start, then sometimes we're out.
I've noticed that even with my teenage daughters, sometimes they're scrolling through and they're seeing all of these perfect girls, which none of us are perfect. And I
Right.
wish that they could understand that. And I feel like all of us at some point in our lives finally come to grips with that.
Yeah.
And so I feel really lucky that I came to grips with that in 4th grade.
That is awesome. So what do you
Yeah.
believe it to be the difference at Hive Homes? Do you believe it to be the difference in the design, the way that women think? What is the difference?
So here's the thing. When you're building affordable homes, it's pretty much the least sexy thing you can do. Do you know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right.
it's,
Yeah.
And so Jimmy, my brother-in-law, who
Okay.
is the builder and we're partners, he made it very clear in the beginning, I want this to be something different. And we both felt really strongly about that. So we've spent countless hours trying to make these homes, even though they're small, just feel charming and feel like somewhere where you want to go. We also try to do some special things, kind of make it an experience by sending our homeowners little cards, little packages, little surprise
Oh, I love
whatever
you. You are my
along
kind
the
of
way.
lady.
right?
No, but
right?
A little
listen,
cute
we
gift.
make so many mistakes. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
we're not perfect, and we know that. And probably every day we kind of regroup. Okay, so that didn't work.
Right.
So what? You know, what do we got to
Right.
do?
But making them feel like
next?
people, and even though
We're
they're
trying.
getting maybe a smaller home or a less expensive home,
Mm-hmm.
but they still matter and they still count. They'll still make those memories.
Yeah.
And I love
Yeah.
that about it. That home still matters.
And I feel like that's probably been why we've seen so much success and growth and everything is because people will always tell us, I just feel different here. I feel different in your homes. I feel different around you guys.
So the experience, and then I also wonder, I mean, you hear about cookie cutter designs and oh, you can tell that a man designed it. And I mean,
So what is
and
the-
I say that in a very kind way, but I know sometimes when they say like, oh, a woman's touch or a woman would do this in this room, or maybe a woman would think about it this way. Are you trying to bring that element to the table?
100%. And Jimmy's so good at allowing me to have my input that way. And so what the design process looks like for us when we're designing a plan, I'll sketch out a plan that is so cute and so expensive to build, right? So then he takes it and he like cleans out all the edges and takes out all of
5 different lines.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like, okay, so work with this box. So then he'll get done kind of cleaning it up, and then I'll look at it and I'll say, where the heck are you going to put a vacuum, Jimmy? There's no vacuum storage.
true though, right?
A man would
Yes.
never think of that. And so he's always just so good. Just, oh yeah, of course.
Let's tweak it a little
let's
bit
get
or
a
change
closet
it.
in there for a
I
vacuum.
love that.
I do too.
So much.
Because
So-
men do have an equal part. I think that times are changing, and
Yeah.
so we're starting to, like, my one son-in-law is a total, like, Mr. Mom. Like, he does just as many chores. But I think for a while it has been more of a woman's place, but that's our
Right.
natural place, is to cozy our home and everything.
Yeah.
So I love the idea that a woman is kind of taking control of that a little bit and
Right.
saying, this is what matters to us, too.
Right.
Not just a big garage where I can hang animals.
we love those too.
We do.
But that brings up kind of a good point. A lot of people ask me, why Hive Homes? And the whole idea behind it, the way it kind of came to me was we were feeling very women-centric and how women care so much about the building process. And so why do we build these houses around and for men pretty much, and women feel kind of stupid when they're on the job sites and stuff. Nobody means to, but it just kind of
Right, it's
happens. They don't
intimidating
understand the
sometimes.
words. Thank you. It's intimidating. And so I kind of pictured this women-centric experience and how a woman is really the queen bee, and we wanted her to feel like the queen bee. And so that's where Hive kind of came into
The name.
mix. I didn't think about the fact that we're the Beehive State and the and
See, and
all
I
of
was
the
thinking
different
that's what it
cliche
was.
things. No.
Well, it works. It works.
Yeah, it's got a good double meaning there for sure.
Yeah.
So you're building. Okay. So you have homes built where now?
So we've got Eagle Mountain we're building right now, a lot in Santaquin. We're actually creeping down south to Cedar City, Enoch, a little in St. George. And then I'm so excited we're going to be here in Spanish Fork in about 6 months.
So
I
exciting.
know. I'm so excited.
And where do you currently live?
So I live in Elk Ridge, but I'm actually moving here too, Spanish Fork.
That's where it's at, baby.
Yep, part of Studio Chatter.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's really neat. I'm glad that you're bringing it
I
here.
do believe there is a nonprofit that.
Yes, yeah, we're really excited about that. So something like that takes a ton of time to put together. So we're hoping to have this put together by the end of 2021. But what we wanted to do, that cozy feeling, that whole feeling that we're talking about with our homes, we wanted to kind of team up with the local women's shelters just around here and help them renovate their shelters, help them create spaces that feel safe, that feel like places they can heal and come together. And because right now I've gone and looked at them, and it's a very institutional feeling.
Yeah.
And so that's what we kind of want to do, is just create these wonderful spaces that feel like home, just a soft place to land. So
I love that. You're taking something that you guys are good at and then giving a piece of that
And
to the
giving
community.
back.
doing what
That's
we
really
can
neat.
and kind of keeping that same
And
women's.
the project was it
Oh, it's called the Protea Project.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
And I love it's named after a flower. Is that right? That stands
Yes.
for something.
Yeah, so it's the Protea is a South African flower that symbols bravery and courage. So, and I figure those women are some of the bravest
Yeah,
of
I
all.
really like
So,
that. I love people that do great things and then give back to the community, and I feel like that's what you're doing. And
Well, thanks, you
showing us
guys.
women that we can do hard stuff.
Yes.
even if we're a piece of
Even
wheat
if we're
bread.
a little intimidated and average.
Well, Becky in the Boys Club,
Yes.
you are not average, not by any stretch of the imagination, and
Yeah.
I hope that your kids think that you are super cool for making your appearance.
Wheat bread
The
with
merch is
sunflower
coming.
seeds.
Yeah. Well, so if anybody wanted to get a hold of you to start construction, to look at anything that you have
For
to offer
sure.
right now, how can they reach out?
Good question. So the best thing to do right now is to follow our Instagram. It's just at Hive Homes, or you can follow me at Becky in the Boys Club, and we usually keep that pretty up to date about what we have inventory-wise and what's going on.
Okay.
Awesome.
And then is your blog separate from?
Yeah, so that's just BeckyInTheBoysClub.com.
Okay,
So,
okay.
and that talks more about the renovations I've done, design work,
Good grief.
things like that.
When
Yeah.
do you sleep?
I know.
Never.
Never.
When the kids are at school, and
My
I
kind
can
of
just,
woman. We just talked about saying no. So.
Right. Well, such a pleasure. Please
Yeah.
do come back and visit us
I would
when
love
you move back
that.
to the area. Thank
Yeah,
you
I would
so
love
much.
that. Thanks, you
you.
guys.
All right. There's more studio chatter coming up. Welcome back. Well, Stacy missed out, right?
She did. We had some fabulous people tonight. She missed out on some good food.
So the good news is we had chips and salsa, kind of on her behalf. I guess she's probably
Right.
having some also.
Yes, she is. I'm sure she is. So
Probably
we shouldn't feel
beachside.
too bad about that,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
And hopefully
We're
I
just
can take
celebrating
some
with
home for dinner. All right. So we had fabulous salsa, but also we got to meet fabulous people, and Becky was so awesome. Like
So awesome.
really, and isn't it such a small world? Like I bought my first home from Salisbury, and that's where she started. She told us that after. I just think she's got great history.
She does. And speaking of history, we had another great guest share all about learning about your family history and also making your connections with your generation gaps. And
Why does
and
it
the
scare
20
me, Natasha, so much?
I think it scares you because you're such a perfectionist and you want to do like all the history.
Yeah, like I can't just do one piece of it.
I'll tell you what,
Okay.
I'll give you a 21-day challenge. Just 21 days. I think you can do it.
I could maybe 21 minutes, 1 minute a day.
There you go.
Okay, or two. Or why I'm sitting in carpool.
There you go. You can do
That's
my,
yours.
my carpool if
Yeah,
you
'cause
want.
I don't do
And
carpool.
she said the Instagram counts.
Yeah, she did. She
So
sure did.
you
So
can-
now I need to start doing that
There you
again.
go.
Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. That
I'm not ready yet.
yeah, I'm afraid it
I
could
do my
be
stories once in a
overwhelming
while,
for
and I
you.
was like, that's enough.
Okay.
That's enough.
Yeah.
I'll get there.
And salsa madre. I mean, gosh, we just can't say enough about that. So
right. And you brought in the salsa before, and it's always been fabulous, but to meet the people behind it was a different story.
Well, because it goes beyond the salsa. So if you haven't stopped into the new storefront, you really need to try like the whole meal kits.
Yeah.
So there's the taco kits, there's the tamales, there's the enchiladas. They're kind of rotating the menu every week, so make sure that you're checking that out. We have so many local offerings.
We sure
So
do.
it's not only food, there's home design, there's family history and genealogy. I mean, we just have the neatest people.
We do. We're just creating this awesome mecca of a community. Like I really feel like
love
we're
that
just.
word.
Do you? Okay.
Yes.
Mecca.
I think that we should
Again.
use Mecca a lot more.
Proverbial.
And proverbial. Yes, I like that word as well.
No, yeah, Stace did miss out. I'm glad that she's out relaxing, but
Yes.
yeah, she missed out on a great show.
Everybody deserves a great vacay.
Yeah, we do.
We do next. We're next.
Yeah.
And as much as we love our kids, we probably should take a little
We
vacay.
want them to grow older, maybe.
Yes. It's okay to vacay away from them every so
For a
often,
minute.
right?
Yeah.
Well, we had a great time. We hope that
We
you had a
did.
great time also. Thanks for being here with us. We hope you enjoyed the program. Tell a friend about us.